Well, I think it's the first time we're actually playing an intimate venue like this. We've played a few venue gigs here, but bigger places, you know. And, you know, for me, I have my best friend lives here, my godson lives here. You know, other than playing gigs, I come here just to see them. They're like family, you know, so. And also have that close relationship that I have with the city and also feel it with the people, so yeah, it was interesting. I was playing in the band since I was 8, before Fela died, you know. So when Fela died, like, you know, the fact that Fela left us physically did not mean that the Egypt band had to die also, you know. I believe, and a few members of the band also believe that the Egypt was an African musical institution, not just an African band, you know, just a band. You know. And for me, it was quite easy to make this choice, but what I always say is that, you know, I was 14, I could have done it for 10 years, I'll be 24. If it doesn't work, I'll, you know, go and do something else. I had time. But there were people in the band that were 50 and 55 and 65. I mean, my band leader now is 76. You know, so I think it was a harder decision for them to make. You know, they put in a bigger sacrifice from that perspective. You know, because, you know, Fela had 70 people in the band, man. Like, that was Fela, you know, larger than life in every way and in every aspect, even musically.
Those last two songs are from our new record, A Long Way to the Beginning.
It kind of, you know, it strikes you like a long way to the beginning. Huh? But for me, you know, it represents a lot of things, you know. First of all, for the Egypt band and Afrobeat music, after Fela's death, to have been able to come all the way and to be where it is today, you know, for me, there's a certain energy about Afrobeat music right now. Also for me personally, as a father, for the first time, you know, I'm 31 now. You know, since I had my daughter, it was a new way, you know, to feel, new way to live, new way to see life, new way to love, new way to reason, new way to see everything, you know. So, you know, for Africa as well, you know, there's a certain awakening in Africa happening right now among young people. I mean, my generation, we are the generation that never saw, you know, an exciting Africa. The people that lived in the 50s and 60s, you know, experienced the independence movement, experienced the first drive towards nationalism that was covertly interrupted by Western intervention all over Africa. I mean, from Idi Amin to Lumumba to Bembela, you know, Seun Kuti, and great nationalists who were hounded with propaganda and outright violence, you know. So all that excitement, you know, Nkrumah and people like that, all this excitement, you know, and the ideological battle that happened in Africa, you know, and then the promise, the hope, you know, that beginning of the industrialization that collapsed, you know, people lived through that. But we are the only generations that were born in the 80s that never saw anything positive out of Africa. That we just bore the brunt of that failed experiment. Now we're waking up, you know, and it's important, you know, so this is the beginning for Africa as well. It's the beginning for modern Africa, for the most educated Africans ever. You know, so our own experiment, I believe, is going to be, you know, a bit more successful. It's going to move Africa in the right direction, you know. We just saw Campore after 27 years. You have to understand that people that were born when it started raining are 27 today. In my generation, I'm 30, 31, you know, so we've never experienced constant electricity, flowing water, you know, a functioning bureaucracy, you know, proper hospitals, good schools. We never experienced that in Africa, so we're asking that. So it's a beginning for Africa as well, you know, so this renaissance is also one of the reasons why I thought A Long Way to the Beginning would be a great title. Well, you know, I don't think saying I'm as political as my father is the right way to put it. But I would say I'm very political too. You know, I think that there are certain things that, you know, my father's ideology and mine do not really agree in terms of politics, but, and this is the most important but, you know, the basis of our ideology is the same. The difference is that, you know, he was making, his idea was for an Africa in the 70s, and the ideas that I have are for an Africa in 2014.
You know, this is why I like European politicians. They are good at everything. They plan the city, they bring electricity, they bring healthcare. But when it comes to lying, they're kind of weak. You know, say, I'm sorry, it's me. I didn't plan. Please, Danish people, forgive me. I will now resign my office and try and concentrate on developing my life. Try that same shit with an African politician. Bring a picture. Say, this is you taking the money. Say, so, what does that prove?
It's important that, you know, the basis of our ideology is the same. Fela, you know, it's not just the music that makes Fela what he is today. What made Fela what he is today is the idea. And that's why Fela can die and then become more famous than he was when he was alive. I always say to a lot of people as well that, you know, it's not about being Fela's son. Being Fela's son is one of the reasons why I know what I know today and why I believe in his message and want to do the things I do the way that I do them.
Do you hear this music? Original African music.
But if I was not Fela's son and I was lucky enough to know what I know today, then definitely, I'll still do what I'm doing today.